Got a
you,
good.
sir?
I am fantastic. We got a big show today. You
Cool.
also had some big news this past weekend. Other than you working out in a hotel weight room by yourself and sending pictures about it, what cool
Yes.
thing happened in your family this past weekend?
My daughter is a master's degreed mechanical engineer.
She has a master's of mechanical engineering.
Yes.
I think that's
So
amazing. As
it
someone
is
who barely got a bachelor's,
completely amazing.
she get that from her mom's side.
Not me. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Well, speaking of young ladies doing amazing things, we got a special show today. Special show. We've been talking a lot lately about like agency, sales copy, but here at Copy and Content, one of the things that we really stress is having a book. Books. Remember this one, Stu? DIY media marketing. This
Yeah.
first big project
Classic.
we ever did together, a classic.
Classic.
um, having a book can make a huge difference in your life. Having multiple books, that's a mock up for a future edition. Nice work. Having multiple books can give you even more cred. Now, we have a very special entrepreneurial author that we're going to bring on here in just a second. I'm going to give you this person's curriculum vitae. That's Latin for resume. I looked that
That
up.
yeah, is a fancy word.
Yep, absolutely. So, this young lady is an author of not one, not two, but three books, all of which have been bestsellers. She recently was featured at an expo with over 100 entrepreneurs where she was the only one selling books and had a very successful day. Learned all about bundling books together and not undercharging and signing books and just doing the thing. She's got a killer Instagram presence, amazing stuff. And she's so successful that she's going to be moving to Hawaii. She's moving from the cold climb of Denver, and I told her she needs to learn how to surf. She's not real, hip on that, but she's heading to Hawaii.
Wow, two beautiful states. Oh man, what college did she go to, Jim?
Well, Stu, this is the amazing part. Our guest is only 11 years old,
What?
and she published her first book and made it a bestseller when she was 10. She knows exactly who her avatar is. She knows who she's called to serve. She knows exactly what she is called to do right now in her life. And I have a feeling no matter what she does, it's going to be amazing. So, with no further ado, we're going to welcome to our virtual stage Miss Izzy Whitney. What's up, Izzy?
Nothing much.
I'm well, you got a lot going on. Look at her. She got the merch and everything, man. She's got on her I'm an author t-shirt. Now, Izzy, are we pulling you away from school to do this?
Maybe it's a
It's okay. Did you tell your teacher that you had a work commitment? You had a publicity opportunity? Is that
yes,
what you told them?
yes.
Awesome. So, Izzy, can I call you Iz or Izzy, or can I call you Iz? Because I think Iz sounds cool.
You can call me Iz.
Okay.
So cool.
Iz, what made you write your first book, and what was your first book? And can you hold it up so we could see it?
Yes. So this is my first book.
Okay. Hold it up a little closer to the camera so we can see it. When in doubt, don't freak out. Love it. What's that about?
So
Love it.
it is about study skills for middle schoolers who are struggling with school, and yeah,
Okay. So is your target audience girls, boys, or anybody who's in middle school?
anyone who's in middle school for this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you decide to write that book?
Well, my grandma had just completed your 7-day book writing challenge, and she asked me if I wanted to write a book over the summer. I said yes. I was so excited. I also wanted to write a book because I knew that kids are struggling with school, and over the pandemic, kids' grades have dropped so much, and yeah, and I wanted to help.
Okay.
You know, that is so important, Izzy. I think sixth, seventh, eighth grade are probably the three most important grades that we have throughout our lives, because those three usually you go down one path or another, right? And it's usually determined in those 3 years for sure.
Which path are you talking about? Because I'm scared I might have gone down the one I shouldn't have, Stu. So, Izzy, what did you do? How long did it take you to create the book? And what did you do to start marketing it?
So my first book was 10 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
Um, what did I do to market it?
Did you
Oh,
outsource it?
Social media.
so basically, we started an Instagram account and we posted pictures of um the books, or well, the book, and I also had a YouTube channel at that time, and I made a couple of videos. It's like, I'm writing a book. You should come buy it and see it.
Okay. No,
Where
that's
where
cool.
can we find you on Instagram? What's your Instagram page?
um, it is I am Izzy Whitney. Yeah, and I post reels that are like school tips and confidence tips, and that's where I will share if I have a new book coming out or a new series or something like that, and
Okay.
also book signing events as well.
Tell me about your first book signing event. How did you feel when you did that?
I felt very accomplished because I like the book is here. People are buying it. I get to sign it, and I just felt so happy and so accomplished.
That is, you are like, I'm almost in tears, Izzy. This is so amazing. Tell me about your second book. What did you think about that? What's that about, and what was the process of getting that one done?
So this is my second book.
Okay.
It is very similar to the first one, but it's
Okay.
for parents, teachers, and homeschoolers to help their kids implement and improve in school. And at the end of each chapter, there's 3 tips for parents, teachers, and homeschoolers um, to help their kids.
Okay. So that's, I mean, that's actually a great thing you did there, because you leveraged existing material, reframed it a little bit to go after a different audience. So that's how you could do that lickety split. It also sounds like it might be a little bit more of like a workbook or an implementation guide for them
Yeah,
as well. Okay. I think that's real smart.
thank you.
And oh yeah, get you something. Is that caffeinated water, or are you just going straight?
It's just normal water.
Okay. All right. What's your third book?
My third book is Confidence is Key.
Mm.
This is it.
Okay. And who's that aimed at?
It's mostly aimed for tween and teen girls, because in today's society there is so many beauty standards that you have to fit into or you're ugly, but that's obviously not true, because you're beautiful just the way you are and you don't have to change, because you were made just to just to be you. And if you try to like change yourself, then you're not going to feel better. You're just going to feel worse because you're not yourself.
So give us a couple of tips out of that book.
The first one is be positive and think kindly to yourself. Because if you think negatively and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so ugly, then you're gonna feel terrible. So just start noticing stuff in the mirror that's like, wow, I really like my eyes, or I really like my hair, something like that. And then you will slowly be more confident because you're looking at yourself in a different way than how you used to if you were saying that you're ugly, but you're not ugly. So
That's great. How did you research that book? Tell me about the process of just how did you come up with the stuff you wanted to write about?
so in third grade, Um, I compared myself to this one girl because we didn't look alike, and I don't even know why I started comparing myself to her. My brain was just like, oh my gosh, you should be more like her because she's prettier than you. Because she has like straight hair and I don't have straight hair, and was like more she was like more tall and stuff, and she was just confident. And then around October, I believe, I started I just looked up how to glow up on YouTube, and there's like just drink water and work out, which obviously that's not the only thing to be confident. So I just started to work out. I started to journal. I started to read more, and then eventually I found out who I am and not who that girl is, because I was kind of being her instead of me.
That's amazing. I'm just going to tell you this, Izzy.
Incredible.
You're freaking amazing. I'm just going to tell you right now, girl. I want. I just want to give you a big hug. I am so proud of everything that you're. I am proud of the way that your attitude, your just everything. Dear God, you have got a bright future ahead of
Oh,
you.
I can't
I
wait to
mean,
see it.
yeah. I mean, oh my goodness. You're gonna have to do like a yearly Izzy check-in on the show just so we can see how you're progressing. Um, because honestly, honey, you're all the things you just said apply not just to girls, tweens, teens, that everybody in the world needs that advice. Everybody needs your book.
Mm.
Everybody needs that. We were just talking in the office today about how looking at social media makes you feel like crud about yourself. I mean, it's designed to make you feel less than, so you're comparing yourself to others.
Mhm.
And you're telling us if you want to really be happy, you got to look within first, work on yourself first, reading, journaling, working out, and then anything in the external world doesn't matter because you know that you're taking care of you.
Yes, yes.
Well, I see another book in your future,
That's
Izzy.
beautiful.
So
Yeah.
what are your plans now? I mean, now that you're a multi-platinum selling artist, what are you now? I know you got a big move coming up. You're moving to Oahu. Is that where you're moving?
Yes.
Okay, you excited about that?
Super excited.
It's
Have you
beautiful.
done have you done any kind of a pre-launch campaign to let the island know that international best-selling Izzy is coming, or are you just going to sneak up on them and let them find out for themselves?
Um, I'm just gonna sneak up.
What's your plan this summer? Are you going to do any author-related stuff? Are you going to write another book? Are you going to promo your book?
Yes. Um, I plan on writing two more books because I want to make um like the confidence book and like confidence stuff a series. So the last two books are going to be self care and mental health, because I feel like if I feel like a lot of people struggle with those, and I've struggled with stuff like that before. And I just feel like if I can make this a series, it'll it will be a little bit more helpful.
If I was your coach, is it okay if I coach you here for a second? If
Yes.
I was your coach, I would tell you to do exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
The next thing I would tell you to do, though, is you are extremely well spoken and have a great camera presence. I would encourage you. You like making money, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's it's nicer to have money than not. I would really encourage you to come out with a course. Come out with a like a 2-hour course, or an hour-long course, or something that you could sell as a one-time offer or an upsell or a bump or something to go with those books, especially with that trilogy that you're putting together. I
Okay.
would really encourage you to make that course. And here I'm gonna give you a little marketing angle, and then Stu, I would love for you to pipe in. Market it as something that parents and kids can watch together, because then that opens up the market to go out. I mean, kids now got freaking credit cards and stuff. I didn't. I was lucky to have 50 cents to rub together when I was 10,
I was
11.
mowing grass to
But
make money at your age, Izzy.
yeah, yeah. And in the hot Florida sun. Um, but as I'm telling you, you got those to go with those books. You got a course and you have exercises and stuff where the parents and the kids can have discussions and things to talk about, things to let the parents know what to watch out if the kid's getting into a funk and stuff like that. I mean, put some time into that. But Izzy, I'm telling you, girl, that could pay for college if you do it right. I'm just
Easy.
saying. Okay. So really start thinking now about teaching a class, because I doubt you would be scared to get up and talk in front of a group. And so you add some no, I'm serious, girl. You add some speaking, and you've got a course and you've got that. I'm telling you, man,
Mm.
the world is your oyster in a big, big way. So what you think,
Hey,
Stu?
hey, whenever you uploaded it onto Amazon, did you have the audiobook option? Did you try that?
Yes, I did have an ebook.
We haven't done audio yet.
Oh, oops. We have not done audio, but we have for the first two, I believe. We do have an ebook.
Yeah, check it out, because we did a show the other day and Jim demonstrated one of his books that he just published had an extra button on there in the upload process to make it an audio book, and it does it through AI. You don't have to sit and read it and record it. It's an automatic audio book. That might be
Yeah.
a really neat way to reach people, because everybody's listening to something on their phones and
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the AI voices are so good now that it
yeah, you
really
can,
sounds like you hired somebody to narrate the book. Though you may want to consider narrating it yourself.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah, but something to really think about. That's something that could increase your revenue from the books, and it gives you a wider net on Amazon to bring them into your world. You're getting a whole lot of really good comments here, Izzy. I'm going to read you a few of these. Um, Izzy is awesome. That's a great book. Izzy, you rock. What an amazing young lady. Wisdom beyond her years. Her avatars are on the money. Love that cover. You go, girl. Welcome to a homegrown college scholarship. I thought that was kind of cool. This is business advice for grown-ups. Wow. Uh, yeah, they're digging this. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So, um, so this summer, you think you're going to write that next book, or are you just going to hang out and do surfing lessons and stuff, and make this motion? What do they do when there's this one? This you got to learn how to do that when you're in Hawaii.
A little bit of both.
Excellent. So, Izzy, as we wrap this up, what advice would you give to your fellow authors or wannabe authors of any age? Give us some sage wisdom here.
I would say don't be afraid to push out books, and don't be afraid to just do it. And who cares if they judge you? Like, also, who's gonna judge you for writing a book, like a best-selling book? Like, that's amazing. That's great. But don't let fear take control of you. Because if I was scared to put out a book for that I didn't know would hit bestseller, I would have never done it. But since I did do it, and I just went out there and I did not let fear take control of me, look where I am now. I'm on podcasts. I'm writing more books, bestsellers. I am doing book signings. It's all because I did not let fear win.
You actually making us both speechless. I mean, you are like everything. You are like the avatar that I wish that my kids could be. Yeah, right. That's exactly what I am trying to instill in them constantly. But you are just personifying everything Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is incredible.
Yeah, I got nothing to say, but you're amazing. And I
Thank
really
you.
please keep in touch with us and let us know how you're doing. Okay. There must be something in the water
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
But just
Every book you come up with, we'll do a show on it.
yeah,
And you come up with a course, we'll do a show on it. And
absolutely.
because you're just so awesome.
You're
Thank
doing it.
you.
We appreciate you, Izzy. We really do. God bless you, and you have a safe trip to Hawaii. I know that you're going to be crushing it out in Hawaii and occasionally coming back from paradise to let us know how you're doing. Okay.
Okay.
One
Go
more
ahead,
thing.
Stu. What?
You have a website yet?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
What's your website?
it's just izzywhitney.com. You can search it up on Safari and Google, and that's where all of my books are. And you could buy them from there. And there's also some free tips that you can get from on my website too.
Awesome.
Love it.
Great job. Always. That was great point. Great lesson from Stu. I'm not a very good host. I should have thought about that. But you always want to end any interview by giving people your website. If you want, you did it great. I got tips, I got videos, I get info about my books and my upcoming course.
Yes.
And, head on. It's not just Izzy Whitney. It's IzzyWhitney.com. That's IZZYWHITNEY.com.
Yes. And also on my website, I do have a blog. So
Okay.
Hey, I just followed you on Instagram.
thank
Got
you.
another
I
follower.
follow her on Instagram too. Ha. So nice work. All right, Izzy. We'll see you again soon. Okay.
Mhm.
Appreciate you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much for having me.
Thank you. Have a great day at the rest of the day at school. Sorry you have to go back. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, Stu. When I
That's
was that
incredible.
age, I was just happy to put my pants on inside out or outside out. I mean, this kid's crushing it.
Yeah, that was remarkable.
I there's only a few times in my life when I have been made speechless. I mean, like literally, like what do you say? What do you say?
Yeah, it's rare. It is so rare, one, to be speechless.
Right.
Two,
Especially us.
speechless by an 11-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That kid's, I mean, I've seen the future, man.
Well, you know what? That's type of stuff that gives me hope for the future.
And
You know what I
yes,
mean?
it
I
absolutely.
think we can get all negatively charged, when we look across the media and social media and just all the politics left and politics right and all these conflicts, and we lose track of there's some really good kids coming up.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That was awesome. So I I had something that this morning, something I wanted to demonstrate today that we had in our thing, but I was thinking about something today, and I think it would be interesting to talk about. It's just an idea that I've been thinking about, came to me. I've been meditating a lot and thinking and doing all these things, to try and, Jim 2.0, or
Love it.
10.0. And I started really thinking about some of this stuff, and something Izzy said that I just kind of want to share this. Why do we think, why would anybody with a brain, look at her and not think, dang, this kid's got it going on? And the reason for it is because she is in the process of building up what I would call capital, what I'm referring to internally as capital. Now, what is capital? Capital is, some people think of capital as money, assets, stuff to back it up. The more capital you have, the more powerful you are, the more autonomy you have, the more you are able to actualize. And so I made this giant list of It's kind of hard to see, but I was making it this morning. It will be transferred through the power of my brain to the electronic board. One of the things that, if you think about it, belief, when we're believing ourselves or others, okay, why do we believe that we're qualified? Why do we believe that somebody else is qualified? Why do we believe that somebody, including ourselves, is capable of doing or delivering or whatever it is that we are putting out into the world that we could do? And I think what we just talked about with Izzy is a great example of that, because she has started to build up capital and recognize capital within herself. And so we're going to talk about some things that are part of your capital. First one is your story, the story you're telling yourself, the story you're telling others about you and about what you've done and what it means and all those different things. That makes a huge difference in your ability to believe in yourself and people believing in you. But what are some other things that are capital? Your experiences, things you've done, things you've seen, things you've figured out, things that you have experienced. Now, we think about Izzy. Izzy has sold her books belly to belly to her target audience. The kid has stood in front of adults and gotten them to give her money for her books. That is a scary thing for a lot of people to do. In fact, that fear is what holds most adults back from really doing anything. Yet, the kid is building up experiences now that, moving forward, tell her, you know what? I haven't done this before, but I've done something similar before. And so, based on this experience and based on the story that I'm telling myself about me, I can do this. And it builds up that capital within herself. The other thing that goes right along with experience is results. Now, that young lady is going to be able to draw on the results that she's getting now at age 10 and 11 for the rest of her life. But the thing is, it's because she recognizes those results, but we can do the exact same thing. When I've been down in the past, I draw on the results of stuff that I did in high school that you might not think was important, but it was cool stuff to me. And looking at those results, you can leverage them and say, hey, I might not have done this before, but I've done cool stuff before. And I feel like I can do this. Again, belief. So some other things: ability, skill, knowledge, know-how, all these things that we build up this storehouse over time give us the ability, give us the permission, give us the belief that we can actually do something and accomplish something, whether it's launching a product, whether it's publishing a book, whether it's delivering a speech, whether it's launching a business, whether it's whatever it is. As we build up this capital and recognize it, that's the other thing that's important. You don't just build it up, but you have to recognize it. And when you do that, you're able to get better results. And it's an upward spiral instead of a downward spiral, which is what most people do. Actually, most people don't do anything, they just sit. What are some other things? People you've worked with, partners that you've had, places that you've been interviewed. Now, think about this. Other kids today already went to Izzy's school. They're doing their thing. But now, I'm not saying it's a huge deal, but Izzy can say, hey, I got to be late to school this morning because I was being interviewed on a podcast. And everybody's like, what? But my question is, you as an adult, how many of you have been interviewed on a podcast? How many of you all of you could be interviewed on a podcast? But how many of you have actually actively put yourself in a position where you could be interviewed, where somebody else would promote you, where someone else would hold you up? Not just that, but also give you an opportunity to sell your stuff. Because I flat guarantee some of you are going to go buy her books. Some of you are going to go to izzywhitney.com and you're going to buy those books for your kids or your grandkids, or you're just going to buy it because you're like, wow, you know what? I want to support that kid. That kid made money today because she showed up and capitalized on her capital. Some other things, social media. Did you hear what she said? If you didn't, go back. Yeah, we started an Instagram and I just started posting. I started a YouTube and I just started teaching. She's doing it. And by doing it, you build up that capital, which enables you to be able to get an amazing result. So I want you to really think in terms of an asset list, a capital list, a list of things that you can point to internally and externally that increase your belief about yourself and increases the belief from others about you. And then have that list and keep building it. Recognize it. What are some other things that give you capital? Capital that you can leverage. Client lists, subscriber lists. Oh, I don't have any of those yet, Jim. Yeah, well, Izzy's got subscribers, and I guarantee she didn't, even though she was born in the 21st century, she didn't pop out holding a CSV file on a thumb drive. Okay. So she's building up a list. What are some other things? Awards and certifications. These give you capital, credibility with yourself and others. Awards for the rest of her life. Izzy's going to be a best-selling Amazon author. In fact, Susan, as an aside, if you could do me a favor, make a little note. Let's get with Nancy and do for Izzy with one of her books what we did for the mastermind people. I want her to have an award. We just got to find out from Anza what their new address is going to be. Just remind me. I'll take care of it, please. Thank you. But certifications, all right? I'm not huge on certifications, but in certain cases, they make a lot of sense. For example, I'm certifiable, but I don't have any certifications. I got a CPR certification, but I think that expired. I was licensed as a real estate agent a couple times, but like a certification that makes sense, that gives you capital. Like Sue's got his CSCC, Certified Strength and Conditioning Coach thing. I mean, yeah, he's a Navy SEAL, but he also went and got certified as a coach for the specific stuff that he's doing. That makes sense. That increases his belief that he knows what he's doing. That increases the belief of others like, oh, yeah, he's not just a musclehead. He actually is certified. But start thinking about all that capital that you already have, and then be strategic about what you build up over time to give you even more capital and more belief. Because I'm telling you what, man, that kid's on fire as far as getting results. So let's check in with Stu. How you feeling, buddy?
Woo. Yeah, I think breakfast disagreed with me, Jim.
Huh? You doing better?
Yes, I'm much better.
What's the SOT? Special
Oh.
Operations Team?
Yeah, just a Naval
Spec
Academy
Ops team.
Club. Yeah,
I got you. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay.
That
Well,
was
while
just-
you were gone,
I saw. It looks
we were
really
talking
good.
about capital. There's one other thing that I just want to that she made me think of, something else that I wrote on my page this morning. One of the biggest things that holds people back. And this is something that I have to constantly remind myself of, because I like got over it. And so it doesn't bother me. I just got so many different, it's like a muscle. But the first time you do curl, remember the first time you ever did curls, how badly your biceps hurt? Or if
Yeah.
you haven't done curls in a long time and then you do a whole bunch of curls, your biceps feel like they're getting, you know, smacked with a baseball bat. But you get to the point where it's just like, man, I just ignore the pain, whatever. But it's the fear of rejection. That is to my knowledge now, with doing this for however freaking many decades, okay? That fear of rejection is the number one thing that holds the majority of people back. And fear of rejection can take a whole bunch of different forms. But what made me think about when Izzy's like, yeah, how could anybody talks? Basically, I'm going to paraphrase now because she was better at it than I will ever be. But she basically said, how could anybody talk smack to you about being a best-selling author? It just doesn't compute.
All right.
And so she has reframed her mind that people can't reject me. They just can't. They can't reject me. They can reject an idea, but even if they reject the idea, they're kind of dorky for doing it. So I'm just not even going to worry about them. But some of the fears of rejection that people struggle with, adults struggle with, okay? Really, and you hear that the biggest fear is, fear of public speaking. But fear of public speaking actually comes down to a fear of rejection, being
True.
rejected by the audience, being thought to be stupid, being thought to, people looking down on you, people saying no, people ridiculing you or making fun of you or telling you that you're stupid or getting mad at you. Those are all fear of rejection. And the interesting thing is that the vast majority of the circumstances where you think this is a possibility, where people are going to reject you, it'll never happen. It never happens. I remember, and it's 25 years ago, the first time I did a mass mailing to my list. I sat there for close to an hour, scared out of my gourd that someone was going to yell at me. That was the verb. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
That was what was being verbalized in my head. Somebody's going to call and yell at me. And it's like, dude, they don't even have my phone number. How could they? And besides, I was on dial up. So the number they would have called would have been busy because I was sending the mailing. But true story. And so I finally sent it, and you know what happened? Nothing. Like one person bitched and several people bought. And so that fear of rejection, how do you overcome that? Well, you overcome it through experience by exposing it as it's not real. Now, that doesn't mean that fear isn't valuable or anything like that, but nobody can reject me if there's only about a dozen people on this earth who could reject me personally. One of them's my wife. One of them's here in the background. Really nice to her, if I can be. There's not a whole lot of people who can reject me personally. That's the way I've got it set up. And so this fear, a lot of times, all you got to do is just have some little experiences to realize that this stuff is all false. So how do you have those experiences? Well, you got to get outside your comfort zone to a degree, but you also don't have to go whole hog and do something that sets you up for just being super scared. But if you're scared of speaking in front of a group, speak in front of a group of a couple of friends. Speak in front of a couple of friends. Okay. When I was getting started speaking, I would speak in front of like 3 or 4 people. I would get my friends together so I could speak in front of them and then make some kind of a janky recording. And then it would get slowly bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. With trying to, and where the fear of rejection is holding a lot of people back is a fear of rejection of making an offer or trying to sell something and people saying no, and confusing that no, a rejection of an idea or an offer for a product, with rejection of self.
Right.
And so if you really want to look at it in a disempowering way, I have a website that has about a 3% conversion rate on it. If I really wanted to get down in the dumps about it, I could say that 97 people out of every 100 that come to my website are rejecting me personally. I must really suck as a human being. I need to go sit in the rain and give myself paper cuts and pour lemon juice into them mentally. All you need to do is go have little experiences. And as you get bigger and bigger, you build that frame of reference, you build up that capital that shows you that you can handle stuff. But I'm going to give you the tip when it comes to what we're doing here, that if you're slowly by yourself in your room alone, no one's around for you to admit, and you're sitting there in your beanbag chair with your bag of Cheetos, and you're nodding your head going, yeah, Jim, I am scared of rejection. I'm scared someone will say no. I'm scared it'll be a reflection on me, especially when I'm trying to sell something. All you got to do is make them an offer they can't refuse. Make your offer so good, they'd be stupid to say no. And when you can look at your offer, whatever offer it is that you're making. So you think about little Izzy, she's got her book, she got her box set. She knows she's going to help kids get better grades in school and feel better about themselves personally and build confidence. She knows that's what they're getting when they take this box set. If daddy don't take this, he's a chucklehead. Honestly, the offer's so good that if you don't take it, it ain't my fault. I know this is what they need. So I am confident in this. The price is right. The offer's great. It's spot on stuff. My offer's so good, you can't refuse. And if you do, the only responsibility I would take for it is that I need to be a better marketer to help you understand the offer to the point where you realize you can't refuse it. That is the only responsibility I will take on to myself.
I like
is
that.
that if you're saying no, I just am not explaining it well enough. Now, that's not to be confused with what chuckleheads in politics do, which is trying to convince you that the purple cow you see is actually a wonderful thing. But I'm talking about if you really believe in your offer, and that goes back to this capital. See, if you recognize your own capital, you recognize your own worth, then that worth is poured into the product, because you're making a product, making a course, making a book, doing a thing that capitalizes on all of this. Then you know internally, okay, this offer is really good. It's rock solid. It's built on a foundation. It makes perfect sense. The only responsibility I have, because I know this offer delivers on that promise, the only responsibility I have is to be a better communicator of the value that I'm going out to my target audience. If they reject it, they can't reject me. They're just rejecting my communication. And you know what? I can adapt until I do it better. But that I'm telling you, this is the thing that's holding up so many people who are listening to us. The people who procrastinate, the people who don't do what they know they pay money to learn how to do something. They sign up, they show up, they get all the knowledge, they've got it all, and yet they never they're always getting ready to get ready, or they're going really slow or whatever. It's fear of rejection. I am fully convinced that this is what holds people back, because when everything is aligned, all that all other stuff, the mechanics of the website, of the shopping cart, of all that stuff, the sales letter, all of that happens when this is bypassed. This is this for the vast majority of people is what's holding them back.
You know, you're 100% right. I think the fear of rejection is the starting point. Like, if you can get over the fear of rejection, you now are able to mentally and physically do the hard work required to get things done. I mean, I think sometimes there's a procrastination part of it, but I think it's linked to fear of rejection. You know, everything is linked to fear of rejection. Your ability to not to put in the work is because of this fear. You know, something I do with it, Jim, and I think we can do a whole show on this, by the way, because I got some sports psychology stuff that has been really helpful with kids that I've been coaching, you know, getting through really hard training. And there's a lot of fear going into that type of training, right? But my first reaction to all of this is a powerful sense of apathy, right? You can actually use apathy to your advantage by not caring about this fear, right? I don't care what this person says. I don't care what if they buy or not, right? I'm going to do this and I'm going to fix it until they do buy, right? So I have found apathy to be a very useful tool in guiding some of my uh, initial fears, especially doing something new. Tackling anything new comes with an innate fear wrapped around it. But an apathetic mindset almost to just say, you know what, screw it, let's try it out, see what happens.
So I'm gonna feedback something what you just said. So apathy equals non-attachment. It does not equal not caring or being an a-hole about it. Like
no,
some people,
right.
when they're apathetic, it's like they're active. It's like they go overboard in not caring to the point where they're just being hostile. And maybe it's not equal hostility.
Right.
But what it means is I'm not attached to I'm not attached to your emotion about this. I'm not attached to your opinion about this. I'm not attached to it. I'm going to let that go so I can focus on what I need to focus on. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I often tell people I am an apathetic optimist. Right?
Okay. You
And
can't just drop that. Let's hear what that
that
means.
means is I always see the good. I see how this is going to turn out. I see, you know, that is just, I don't know if it's how I'm wired or just this is what happens. But I also don't care if it doesn't work out because I'll make it work out again. Right? It gives me, instead of being uh like drop down into the realist or a pessimist mindset, I am relatively optimistic about the future, but I make it to a point where, well, if it didn't work out, it'll work out next time. Right? So that's why I call myself the apathetic optimist.
But you are attached to something. And I'm just going to posit this and you tell me whether I'm right or wrong, okay? You are attached, though, to your behavior, attitude, and actions in the situation. Yes?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So that is, this is my, I think the nuns beat me so badly with those rulers back in the day that my hands, like, I'm doing the handwriting thing just because. Um, I think that's one of the most succinct explanations of a very important principle I've ever heard. See, this is what Stu and I do. We get together, and he doesn't drink tea anymore, but we get together and share caffeine. But I think the apathetic optimist, I am not attached to the outcome in a situation, but I am very attached to my behavior, my attitude, and my actions in every situation.
Yes.
Dude, that's like some serious. That's like one of those Zen. I think they call them cones or something, where they tell you something and you ruminate on something for like, a man never steps in the same river twice, and you think on that for like 5 years. That's some deep stuff right here. And you consciously think it's consciously like part of your identity, your self map.
Yes, 100%. And I've said it
When
for years. In fact, my wife says I'm a pathetic optimist.
you pursue, you're like, that's like Pollyanna. How long ago did you consciously adopt this?
Oh,
Just curious.
probably 30 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when I gave it the name apathetic optimist. And then I just Googled it, and evidently somebody wrote a book on the apathetic optimist.
It ripped you off, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well. We know the truth.
Yep.
All right. Well, this was fun. Great shout out to Izzy for being here with us. Those of you who are in copyingcontent.ai at the elite level, in about 6 minutes, we are going to have our live Genie hacking session over on the Zoom link. And Stu, I hope your tummy's better. Big shout out. Thank you, Izzy, for joining us. I'm just going to say this as a newly converted apathetic optimist. I'm confident that y'all could do as well as an 11-year-old.
Yes. 100%.
I'm optimistic you could.
I strive to be as
Like
she is.
Izzy.
Yes.
Yeah, I strive to be like Izzy. Hey, we could do t-shirts. I'm
I like
like Izzy. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Be like Izzy.
Y'all take care, and elite folks, will see you over in a little bit.